Good morning to everybody, to all gibbers, to all gibberettes. What a lovely day to be talking about rugby league. The ocean out here in these suburbs is going nuts, but the skies are beginning to open, hopefully for some fast footy this afternoon, guys. So let's get into the games from the week thus far. I'm going to start with the Thursday night game, where my Sydney Roosters went down to Brookvale Oval. I was actually en route to Brookvale Oval. And then when we got halfway down Military Road, we thought, fuck that. There's lightning about. Don't want to have to slip down the hill. And then we 180'd it back to my mate's place. Deep throated a couple of pizzas and whipped the boys home on the couch. It was a heavy track, which meant pretty simple footy through the middle. The Chooks actually completed 50 of 52 and only conceded one penalty, which I read is the first time that stat line has ever happened. Certainly, we've got nowhere near that as a club in recent years, given a lack of discipline. Just general thoughts on the game. Thought Cherry Evans was everywhere. He's really frantic. He's a frantic guy to watch, but it's crazy to me that he's 37. Like he's that fit, and he honestly looks like he can keep going for a couple more years. Fahu White's leg drive through the middle was elite, and we joked last year about why did we let May go, but I think it's just because they knew that Fahu was this special, and he continues to get bigger and better. Nat Butcher, shout out to him as well, 202 meters through the guts. Sammy Walker with a very disrespectful field goal at the end to make the score 33 to 14 or something. So that was great. Love the disrespectful field goal. And yeah, Manly weren't exactly terrible, I don't think, but yeah, it was clear that Siebes had lost the dressing room. There was just no energy in that club. So he got sacked in the morning, and then they now go into a run of Finn, Saints, Cows, Para. So that's a pretty solid little month. You'd think that they'd turn it around there. If they don't, then those that got on Manly at $14 for the spoon, get ready to get up and about if they lose 3 of those 4. Supercoach-wise, let's get into the scores, guys. Who stood out? Robert the Truth Toya with a 122, 54 in round 1, 89 last week. On Thursday night, he had a couple of tries, a couple of try assists, and 38 in base power, which actually included 7 missed tackles. Just on the missed tackles thing, he is very aggressive and he's very assured in his decision-making, so he will miss a few tackles every now and then. He kind of tries to spook the opposition centre, which in this case was Kohler, who's not going to get spooked by anybody. And he blew past him a couple of times. But yeah, he's an aggressive defender, and that'll happen. We spoke about Toya last week in terms of his work rate. I think it was like 18 runs or something against Penrith, and how much the Chooks love that right-hand shape, that being their hot zone with him and Marky Mark. I've noticed that Teddy isn't actually sweeping as much to the right so far. So Toya's in those last touch kind of super coach scoring positions. He's going to be 640K, Rob Toya, with a negative break even post buy. There's probably a discussion for another day, but there's an absolute cluster of these dudes that are in the mid 600s with low break evens in the next couple of weeks. And if we can somehow get to one of them from a Chester, a Leo, et al., that'd be great to strengthen the center wing. Mark N. He turned up. He had 108 with a double and 24 runs, which I dare say is probably the most he's ever run in his career. Just does so much freaky shit, doesn't he? He stopped that 40-20 at full stretch like he was stopping a 4 on the boundary. He looks to offload on kick returns. Like, he's just such a fun player to watch, and I can't believe that he's going back to rugby union. But yeah, those that are hoping to get him in sooner rather than later, they're going to have to probably do it in round 7-ish. Let me just share the screen, guys. Sorry, I just realized I didn't have the scores up here in the background, so bear with me. Apologies. But yeah, Marky is going to look like he's an option deluxe at some point. What's doing with this layout, lad? Oh, shit. Doesn't look good, does it? All right, bear with us as we go through these teething issues on a Saturday morning. Yes, I had a few too many vegan flutes last night. Moving forward, so yeah, Marky Mark, mid-sixes, round 7, a target. Again, another one of these guys in that cluster. Tolu Kola, 94, a try assist, and 47 in base power. He's just such a pleasure to watch as an athlete. Such an incredible mover, especially when he's in full flight. Again, another guy that with mid-600s, and they've got that soft run of Finns, Saints, Cows, and Para in the next 4. So another guy we'd probably want to get to sooner or later, or at least have to be considered. Connor Watson, 85. That included a try and 68 base power in 66 minutes. A friend of the show, Egan Butcher, obviously had an early HIA, meaning Watson got subbed on pretty much instantaneously. Locks his best position, guys. You know, he's so fit. He's one of the fittest at the club, if not the fittest in the league. Just sniffs around the middle, fast feet, gets in behind everybody, tackles his ass off. Yeah, there's a logjam of middles at the Chooks once Radley comes back. I mean, that's going to depend where they put Radley. You know, Wong may go back into the middle rotation. Then you got your Fikettis. You got obviously Nat Butch, Spencer Lenu to come back. So whether Watson is able to maintain that 60-minute role, time will tell. But rest assured, his PPM for his career is 1 when he plays at lock. So he's going to be 500K. If there's any reality that he plays 60 minutes, he's at like 0.8% ownership and is a dual hooker to RF. So one to watch. Siwa Wong, one of my favorites, 77, including 73 in base power. His base power average this year now is 66 when he plays 80 on the right. The big question is it his spot? You know, we already just spoken about Radley potentially coming back. What does that mean for Wong? I think that they always plan for Radley to come back. They probably trained with Radley there all preseason. But I think it's become apparent in the last couple of weeks that Wong is a different player than what he ever has been. And I think he just offers a different dimension for the Roosters in attack. They're loving that play at the moment that Penrith run with Lindsay Smith hitting and spinning and offloading it out the back. The Roosters have tried to do that a couple of times with Wong, given he's got a nice offload and he's a big body and can absorb contact. So that's one to keep an eye on. And yeah, again, he's on that right-hand side in that Roosters hot zone. That's where the points are coming this year and last year and the year before. Wong will be 545K. So based on that base power average of 66, like he's straight up 100K unders. They're having the bye next week, reassess then, keep him on a short list. Tommy Turbo, 76, including a double. He had 20 runs on Thursday night, of which only 8 were over 8 meters, which speaks to what we said before vis-a-vis the heavy track. That's just the write-off of the score. You know, he's still muscled to 76. Golden run coming up. Hold. Get him in if you don't. Teddy's 46 with no attack. He has a bye next week, as I said. He'll be 755K versus the Sharks with a big break even. If he gets an 80 there, he'll be 715K by Newey in round 7, and that's when he's going to come into my side, most certainly. Hopefully, Kinney plays his ass off over the next 3 weeks, and then it's only like 100K walk up there. And the final one I want to mention is Hugo Savala. I haven't seen any update regarding Billy Smith. I hope he's okay. But if Billy Smith's out long term, I just wonder if Brobbo's seen enough with Junior Ponga and he thinks, like, let's get Hugo in the centres. And the reason I bring it up is he's available at 5'8". Now, Hugo's like 420K. Shout out to the 420 club. He could be a nice downgrade from Pezzett, you know, depending on the severity of the Billy Smith injury. So one to keep an eye on with how they're looking. We'll jump over to the comments here, guys, see what the boys are saying, the boys and girls. Reese Lawson chimes in. Good morning to our gibberer overlord. Good morning to you, Reese. How you going in the nation's capital, mate? Hope you're staying warm. You'll be dead. Biblical stuff. It is biblical oceans out here at the moment. Bondi Beach, you can actually not really see much of the sand here. Is that an omen for what we're about to see today? I think it's going to be a rugby league points fest. So, Keefe, how are you, Keefe? Toya looking like a beast. Yeah, man. Second year syndrome is a myth when it comes to Toya. He had an uptick in that, when the stats changed from last year. He went up to like mid 60s, and he's only getting better. That shimmy whoosh he put on Casey McLean last week was elite. He's got a nice little flick pass. Yeah, the kid's like 20, and he's just fucking only getting better. Technical difficulties, yes. This is what happens in show business, mate. And then Keats, how are you, Keats? Can we trust Wong position after one game and Robbo rotation? That's the $540,000 question, isn't it, mate? He's played, again, admittedly 3 games here this year on that right edge. Yeah, it's just all about where do they see Radley? Do they just put Radley back in the middle? Or do they fucking just double down on the idea that Wong is younger and the future, and they want that combination with Wong and Toya on the right? Is that a thing? Moving into the next game. Fucking hell. Sit back and relax when we talk about this, guys. Crack open a beer, or if you're like me, have a little look at the Chinese flute. Wes at Waz. Those of us that own Adam Dewey in the Gibberers chat, which again, we represent probably 40% of Adam Dewey's ownership, to say that we were all on tilt pre-game would be an understatement. There was a lot of emotions. Some would say it was ugly. It was ugly from the Gibberers pre-game. We had Lloydie over there in New Zealand, being accused of giving us fake news, even though we had the Sky News coverage, and we just had Fox Sports sucking Luke Metcalf from the back for the entire pre-game. Then it's like, has he got strapping on his quad? Yes, no. Is Benji saying things in interviews? Why is Appy saying both halves are out in his pre-game interview? The guys were on tilt, but then when they went to the sheds and you saw AD in the 7 laying down the law, you just knew something special was about to happen. And guess what? It did. We'll get back into it in a sec. But in terms of the game, yeah, I thought the Wars were looking pretty good early. A couple early tries. Actually had a live bet on them, 51+, which was just basically a donation to Sportsbet. They were targeting that left edge defense of West really early, the same edge that Jai Gray found a lot of success on last week. West at 12-0 down, they left the door open a couple of times. They made a couple of errors out of yardage. But then the Wires turned it over, couldn't capitalize. West just stayed in it from there. They stayed composed over in New Zealand, which, we've seen a couple of teams not be able to do, namely the Chooks and the Raiders. The crowd gets into it. They're fucking yelling, and West just took the crowd out of it somehow and kept their gloves up. I thought that was a really key moment with 25 minutes to go. Samuel Afinu gave away a penalty and then gave a bit of lip to the ref. Got marched 10 meters. Then you're thinking, oh, fuck, this is it. Was a bit of momentum. Then the next set, Ford is going straight through, rampaging like he has the last couple of weeks. And lo and behold, Finu, Jock Madden get in under the ball, force an error. And then was never the same after that. Thought Madden was awesome in this game. I'm not sure who he reminds me of yet. I think his kicking game's really good organizer. I want to say Jack Cogger, but I feel like that might be a slight on Madden. He's genuinely like a very solid player, and I thought he unlocked Dewey quite a lot. But yeah, well done to Wes. Huge road win for them. Let's talk about it now, guys. All right, sit down, lower the blinds, get the salt lamps on, and get the moisturizer into your right or left hand. Adam fucking Dewey. 112, 2 try assists, 56 in base power, 0 points in goals, 2 clean line breaks. Just wow. He looked awesome at second receiver. I don't think he actually kicked the ball in general play at all last night. Madden did all the kicking, a little bit of stuff from Appy. But yeah, I really loved him too wide of the ruck. I also really enjoyed how both his line breaks were on different sides, if memory serves me correct. Like the first one on the right, second one on the left. Adam Dewey goes to the left, he goes to the right. He does it all night. Yeah, sneaky good runner of the ball. Who needs the goal kicking? Is it going to be a hold or a bridge to Nath? I don't know. Listen, those are questions for another day. Let's just enjoy what we've got so far. He's turned up fucking 2 out of 3 weeks. Just the famous Gibberers pod. Shout out to you, AD. And forever immortalized on my right hamstring at Magic Round, given he turned up. Alex Twal, 97, 89 base power in 70 minutes. Another dead set darling of the Gibberers WhatsApp chat. I'm just going to throw this over to Max Bryden because on this same pod last week, Alex Twal was mentioned for the first time in Supercoach history due to Max Bryden. Now, Maxie has some thoughts that I wanted to share with you guys, so bear with me. I reached out to Max for comment a bit earlier regarding Twal's performance. And he remarked this: take a victory lap. Extra tabbouleh if you jumped on, folks. The evolution is real, televised, and absolutely fucking jacked. Benji's taken the Lebanese Simon Mannering and got him playing like Felipe Mateo in attack. The biggest factor isn't even the 97% tackle efficiency. The biggest factor is not even the offloads of the power game. It's the trust. He's the man the Tigers want playing monster minutes in the middle. It's the jewel, it's the draw, it's the buy coverage. It's 4 letters. It's Twal. Beautifully written from the pod hunter, Max Bryden. Yeah, just to echo Max's beautiful thoughts there. Twal, huge engine. Silky hands. That line break assist he threw to Buller, I believe it was absolutely beautiful, man. He's going to be 551K with a 10 break even. He is absolutely going to be in my side next week. Kind of upset I didn't bring him in this week, but I just couldn't sit by and watch Reed Marnie play again. Whatever. Play the violins winner. Yeah. Is there a case that we could be playing 4 FRFs? I mean, just to look at my own side for a selfish moment, I've got IPAP, fucking Stefano, Mooney, and soon to be Twal. You know, these guys are just shitting in base power, high 60s, low 70s. I don't know, something to think about during the week. Again, just on Twal, he averages, when he starts at lock for his career and plays 50-plus minutes, he averages 68. So he's 551K and potentially still 13 to 15 points unders. Probably looking to offload a bit more than what he has in the past as well, given Benji ball. Yeah, again, only 2 offloads last night. Weird kind of New Zealand conditions. Couple of day games ahead, I believe. So, yeah, Flagler to Twal is locked in next week for me. Just an outstanding performance by the pod of all pods, Alex Twal. KPP, 90, 73 base power. Yeah, this is the year. I actually had him last year for a decent stretch. It's probably a year too early. He's 650K now with a 57 break-even versus Para. Is now the time, or do you kind of ride out Chan for a little bit, Finafiliaki, et al., a conversation for another day, but he's looking like he's going to be a top 8, whatever, 2RF. That offload wasn't really even unlocked last night, but 73 base power is fucking disgusting. Jackson Ford, 60 in 68 minutes. They had the full complement in terms of their rotation last night. That's probably going to be the new norm for minutes, which is still fantastic. He made a couple of errors, both in attacking shape. That score could have been very different had he not dropped that. There was a try saver on him by Madden at one point. Yeah, if you brought him in and you paid whatever you paid, like, you're filthy, really, especially when 12 did what he did. But I don't know, the break-even's low. You might burn a trade getting him back to Haas if that's what you did, Haas to Ford. But, he's going to at least hold value for you, so I wouldn't be too upset. It could have been a lot worse. Luke Lawali'i, he pumped out a 60, including a try assist last night. He'll go up 91K and be low 300s with 11 break even. There's definitely still time to bring him in. Probably as a downgrade option or a sideways trade from like a Feimani or whoever. If he gets a try next week against Power, he's going to have a negative break even again. And he should shoot up to like mid 450s, 500 sooner rather than later. So, yeah, one to watch. Luke Lawali'i, he's only in like 4% of teams or something. Like, obviously, attention's been elsewhere when it comes to the cheapies. Hey, Marcassini, 35. Like with last week, I thought he had a really mixed night. He gets targeted a lot in defense. Uh, he had some nice moments in defense, good one-on-one contact, but then in decision making, Madden, rookie winger outside of him, like they're on the same pages sometimes, and he just gets absolutely hammered every carry. I think there's an MO that's been sent out in the league when Marcassini carries, get into him, and there's usually like 3 or 4 in the tackle. He made 4 errors last night, missed 5 tackles. Like he's obviously a specimen and looks like he's going to be an absolute gun. I'd just love to see him play on the wing next week instead of the centres. I feel like there's probably more upside, a bit more space out there for him. And then the final one I want to mention is Jacob Laban, 74, including a try. Just a big shout out to 2 of the great gibberers, Rugby League Realm and Rami, who both played him last night. And also just a shout out to those of us who never traded him out because we had other things we wanted to trade. And we're all falling upwards with Laban. He's going to be an easy 100K downgrade to Couchman Ryan in about a month. Hopefully a little bit more if he can jag a little bit more attack. Moving over to the comments here. Can I ask how long your hog is continued after a dewy ton? It is naturally long, doesn't need any artificial stimulation, that's for sure, mate. Because I was stroking mine till it was melted red skin. We've all been there, brother. We've all been there. Keefy, love to see Tiggs do well. KPP looked good again. He did, mate. I think when the Tigers are going well, there's nothing better. The media kind of get off their back. KPP looks a different player. He's playing on that right-hand side outside Dewey. But as we said, Dewey's kind of playing on both edges. Is Pompey the most fraudulent center in the league? Bloke legitimately looked like an NPC last night. Listen, man, I feel like all of our knowledge of what players are in different positions for every team is pretty strong, given we're super coach sickos. But one I've always struggled with is naming whoever the fuck the Warriors centers are. It's just a kind of constant rotation of forgettable names, and Pompey is certainly one of them. So, but he's twice the footy player that you or I will ever imagine to be. The final game of last night was the Finns playing at Broncos at Suncorp. 42K in the house. I thought it was a cracking first half. The Broncos started really hot, like what they did against Para. Walsh was everywhere early, which is the opposite of what he was against Melbourne. The game then come down a bit and went a little bit tit for tat. But then in the final last 10 of the first half, it just opened up and went end to end. Yeah, really good first half there. I thought the Broncos' defense was massive again for the second week in a row, just like it was down in Melbourne. They're really playing for each other, communicating well on the line and shut down everything, and they scrambled really hard. I thought the Finns looked a little bit sluggish in attack. They had a lot of opportunities in that second half. I just kind of wonder, based on what we've seen over the last couple of weeks, are the Broncos going to be not like Penrith in terms of bad matchup for points, but are they going to be like a top 4 or 5 defense? Just something to note, because they're really shutting down everything. In terms of the Supercoach scores, excuse me, top scorer was Jermaine Asako, 111. He scored a try, kicked 2 goals, and 67 in base power. We spoke about him last week and his runs. I think he ran the ball 23 times last night, and he ran it 21 times last week. He's in a contract year and he's offloaded. He offloaded it 4 or 5 times last night. So second week talking about Asako. He generally starts the year quite hot. Have a bye next week. Sorry, bye a week after. He's burnt so many of us plenty of times. Yeah, I couldn't do it, man. Although I'll applaud anyone who whips him home from afar. Vina Filiaki, 99, too lazy to make one more tackle and get the ton for the boys. That included 89 in base power. His base power average for the year is now 71. Just wow when it comes to this guy. We spoke last week about his effort levels being the same all game. Like he's still very high output in the 75th minute as he is at the start. That was proven again last night. He was chopped down by Walsh after going straight through right near the end. Then there was also a forward pass in the first half. He was again straight through. So that 99 could have very easily been 120. A couple of things going his way. Yeah, every run he does is damaging. He's averaging 195 meters a game this year, and I'd go as far as saying he's playing at an Origin level, to be honest. Next week, it'll be 625K with a 28 break even and then a bye. Yeah, we just saw Wong go pretty well on this same edge running at Brooks last week. I think in terms of is he a buy next week, people were pretty happy to pay this kind of money for Jackson forward. So, using that logic, Finafuaki plays 80 minutes, a bit more upside on the edge. You have a look. Their draw certainly toughens up after the bye, but I think the thing with Finafuaki, and what's always been the knock on him, is the base power game. Guys, it looks replicable. I'd say his fitness is probably the best in the league. That may be hyperbolic, but it feels that way. Again, he's just consistently pumping out high effort throughout the games, and is only kind of getting stronger by the looks. So yeah, the draw hardens, probably not as much upside, but I think in a worst case scenario, like he's still going to hold value around that 650K, whether you move off him or just kind of white knuckle it for that little 3-week period. Time will tell, but yeah, fuck man. If you got him in last week, you're absolutely cheering. If you haven't, he might just be one of these guys that is going to piss you off if you don't own him, because yeah, that base power is best in the league. Bit of a logjam at Queensland in terms of edges. I just noted a comment by Realme and the Gibbers that they've got Shaden Sewer, Fifi, Do You Love Me, Finafuaki, Lukey, Nikora, Firma, and Nanai. Options deluxe. Walshy with a 92. Notice he was actually chewing gum during that game, which is so disrespectful to the Finns. As disrespectful as Sam Walker kicking a field goal off a line dropout with 10 seconds on the clock. Yeah, Walshy 92. He was millimeters away from a try assist in the first half off that lovely right to left cutout ball that he throws. Such a beautiful guy to watch. He's moving so freely. I really like his kicking game. I think it's kind of an underrated part of his game, like general play kicking. He goes hunting for those 40-20s quite a lot. The offload from Tolte is just hanging in the Louvre kind of stuff. I'm just trying to think who threw that really nice ball last week. Fuck, it's escaping me. But yeah, that Tolte one was elite. In terms of Walsh, he plays who do they play next week? Someone soft. I think it's the Cowboys. Let's have a quick look here. Titans. They played the Titans, then the Cowboys, and then the West's Tigers. That game's at Campbelltown. Yeah, get him in. Get him in next week. He is going to go on an absolute tear. Herbie Farnsworth, 82 last night, all in base power, meaning that he earned absolutely every single one of those 82 as he had to go looking for it. In the first half, I think it was like 10 minutes in, there was like a sliding defense. He had no one really on him, and he fucking passed it. As somebody who captained him was like, why'd you pass it, man? It's like 5 minutes out for the line. Fed Cobbo got stopped. Herbie could have fallen over himself. But yeah, that was tough. Their attacking shape to the left, the Finns, looks kind of off at the moment. I noticed that last week, outside defenses rushing in. Sharks are doing it. Brisbane did the same thing. Nikorima kind of gets cramped for room and can't release Herbie. And then I also wanted to go right a lot. Katoa last night wanting to go at Mam and Shibasaki, but they held their gloves up apart from that Finafuaki line break right at the end. I think Avarillo had something like 24 runs, which, on another night is Herbie getting that ball in attacking shape. So, yeah, I'm happy as a Herbie captainer, but also feel that's obviously unders. I think in terms of owning Herbie, he's like 45% owned, but it's another case of everyone's happy, I reckon. If you have him, you get what you pay for. If you're not, he hasn't gone 120 yet. He's going to be 794 next week versus Manly pre-bye. So make of that what you will. And then the other guy that I wanted to shout out is Xavier Willison. He pumped out 64 last night in 45 minutes. When he starts front row forward, Willison, he averages 60 in 47 minutes. So he's much better in the middle than on the edge, PPM wise. That's actually really elite PPM. That's like 1.3. Yeah, he's maybe not an option in Classic this year, unless the Haas thing is more long term than what they're making out. But yeah, very handy in draft and 100% one to watch for next year, given he'll get more minutes with Haas not being there. So that wraps up the games from yesterday, guys. Just looking over to the comments real quick. Keats, how are you, mate? Fina Filiaki are the biggest winners from last night. Winners are grinners, mate. He was getting shot out of a cannon with every run, wasn't he? As we said before, like so many half breaks. Yeah, a couple of tries gone begging. Just a treat to own, a treat to watch. Keefe made some important tackles as well. Yep, again, that engine is ridiculous. Again, not to falsely accuse blokes, but it's just unprecedented how much his output has gone up. And you just wonder what's in the old medicine cabinet up there in Redcliffe. KL Uru over under 65 points this week. Mate, he's due a try. I know that I mentioned on the pod last week on one of these streams I was going to bring him in. I haven't done that. I've actually gone Bradman Best down to Moses Leo because I want to be able to afford Flegler to Twal next week. But I'm going to say over, mate. He's due a try. No question. He's on the left side, running at the right side defense of what's it called? Canberra. So he's going at Simi Sasangi, who's a little bit slower as an edge defender, given he's in the centres. So yeah, I'd like Euro to get over. Katoa has much better timing on the right. Yeah, agree, man. It was kind of frustrating to watch. They kept flogging the dead horse, going right. I think when he came over to the left, he did his little stutter step and kind of caught them off guard a little bit. But yeah, Nikorima, Farnworth, they're just not really on the same page at the moment, which is limiting his upside, especially in that attacking shape. And how shit is Ezra? Yeah, Ezra's kind of a tough watch every now and then, but you'll never forget what he did in that grand final a few years ago. He's just changed the game with one run. That's just about it, lads. Today's games. We've got Newey at the Dogs. It's at Homebush. It does look like it's going to rain. The skies are kind of clearing. It's a bit of rain around last night. Can't wait to watch the return of our GOAT, Fletcher Sharp. Also big on Jacob Preston, anytime try scorer, going at Sandon Smith. Has found a lot of success going at Sandon last week, and I think he's gonna ton up on him. So that's one to get on. And then Penrith versus Para, and then Melbourne at North Queensland. I think both of those games could get really ugly. It's been a pretty solid start for myself, Supercoach wise, this week. But I don't own Cleary, I don't own Grant, and I don't own Sewer. So it may be a night behind the couch, if you know what I'm saying. Good luck today, guys. Hope everyone tons up. Hope every single one of your players tons up, and you will get 1,500 points. Because guess what? 2026, year of the gibberer.